Sorry, was my microphone?
I'm 80.
All right.
Have you made all the games?
You don't have to.
3.
Oh, my own. I did.
He went to Penn State and Michigan State.
I figured the grandkids would.
And so no, he didn't.
What's going on? My eyes twitching.
He's happy he did.
20 seconds.
That's awesome memories them kids are building.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Absolutely.
The older one got offered by Northwestern.
Just a minute. At this time, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Human Services Committee. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could please take the roll. Absolutely. Commissioner McConnell.
Here.
Commissioner Baldwin. Present. Commissioner Rushing.
Here.
Commissioner Dunn.
Present.
Commissioner Bohm.
Here.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch.
Here.
Commissioner Beeden. Present. We have a quorum. Seeing no changes or additions to the agenda, I'll accept a motion.
So moved.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any citizens wishing to be heard this evening? Seeing none, moving on. No updates. Any conceptual initiatives tonight?
None this evening.
No old business. Moving on to new business. 7A, the United Way presentation. We'll welcome Brent Gillette to the podium and Sharon Wilton.
Chairman Bohm, commissioners, I want to thank you for giving me some of your time. As you well know, this is that time of the year that we start the conversation about how do we take care of our community. And we believe that United Way is the single best way to help the most people. And with that idea, we knew that last year when we weren't able to reach as many people, but we were able to serve 16,000 people in our community. This year's theme is You and I Start United Way. And that's what I'm hoping people will take away from tonight's presentation to say, who is you and I? Is that part of me or not? And before I go any further and talk any more, I'd like to see a quick video of what United Way is doing with the charitable dollars of those that supported us last year.
This is Will and Katie, happy 4-year-olds. They live in the same town and go to the same school. They are the same in every way. Well, almost every way. This is their journey. Low-income kids living without children's books is 55%. By kindergarten, Katie has already fallen behind by 14 months. The number of children not reading proficiently by the end of 3rd grade is 60%. St. Clair County residents living from ages 0 to 17 without health insurance is 2.6%. The amount of children living in poverty in St. Clair County is 5,778. There are 370 homeless children in St. Clair County. St. Clair County high school students using painkillers without a prescription is 18%. High school students who will drink alcohol next month is 11%. Percentage of Michigan jobs a high school dropout is not eligible for is 79%. The average dropout rate for St. Clair County for 2021 was 6.75%. The chances of Katy ending up in poverty is 31%. But it doesn't have to end that way. How do we bridge the gap? Prepare Katy for school. Keep Katy on track while she's in school. Empower Katy's family. If we invest in today, Katy succeeds tomorrow. 100% of children succeeding is the statistic we really care about.
That's all we do? Okay. As you can see that this year we started or finished a needs assessment, and one of the focuses we're on is our children. Our children are failing in our community, and we know that if we don't take care of them now, they will not be our future workforce, our future leaders, our future livelihood for our community. So I ask all of you to consider what you can do. But before you do that, I want to say thank you on behalf of the citizens in our community, because this is a group that just doesn't talk about being engaged in the community. They don't talk about how things get done. They get things done. They walk the walk. And I want to thank you on behalf of the 16,000 people we helped last year, as well as the people that rely on you to bring in new businesses and make sure that our standard of living and our livelihood is good in our community. That wouldn't happen without good leaders. Last thing I want to do is answer any questions that you might have, because I need your help and I need you to consider it. But that's your choice. It's not my choice. I'm here to present and ask. It's up to you to decide how you engage. With that, any questions? Once again, thank you very much for what you do every day. But in particular, thank you for your help last year. I know that you were almost 100% or were 100% giving off of this board last year. That's very notable. Thank you.
Item 7B, the Health Department Staff Development 2022. They're just asking for a not day off, to close for the day.
Motion.
So they can have training.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C, Community Health Needs Assessment and Community Information Exchange Planning Grants.
I'd move this be sent to the full board.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item D, the Library Thompson Reuters Westlaw subscription.
Make a motion to send that full to board.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item E, Library Contract Proposal Request, Circe Dynex Horizon for final action.
Make a motion that this be approved for final action.
Support.
All in favor?
Yeah, you got to.
Roll call. Oh, sorry. Roll call, please.
Absolutely. Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Bohm,
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item F, the St. Clair Library System Board of Trustees bylaws revision.
Make a motion to send full board.
Support.
So I do have a question. Now it's been moved and supported. The term limits, is that consistent? Do all boards have term limits? The appointed boards? So they've removed the term limits from this contract is the biggest change.
I believe most of them do not have term limits. However, we can get you that information prior to the full board meeting.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a quick, I guess, update, since we're talking library stuff. As all of you know, the millage passed for a 10-year period of time, and we're going to be having some conversations about, do we fix the existing building? I don't know if any of the commissioners, if you get an opportunity, you might want to take a walk through that building and take a look. We're in some conversations with other people. Does, the library make more sense here, there, whatever? So there's probably going to be some things coming to us after the first of the year regarding the library, more to come.
Yeah, Jeff,
Yes.
any further discussions with SC4 in combining the libraries?
Lots of conversations with lots of people.
Okay,
So,
so that probably be part of the conversations.
yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any other human services matters this evening? Seeing none. For information only, we did receive the Health Department October points of interest. Can I have a motion?
Motion to receive and file.
Thank you.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to receive and file.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Oh, you do it. It's your job again.
I'd like to call the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Judiciary and Public Safety Committee meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch,
Here.
Commissioner Bohm,
Here.
Commissioner Dunn,
Here.
Commissioner Rushing,
Here.
Commissioner Beeden. Present. Commissioner Baldwin,
Here.
Commissioner McConnell.
Here. Thank you. The only change we have under the agenda is item number F is going to be for final action tonight. So if I could have a motion to approve the agenda A through F with F being final action.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any citizens wishing to address us on judiciary or public safety? Elections? That would come under
Ways and Means.
Ways and Means.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Are there any updates? No updates? Conceptual initiatives?
None.
Old business, we have none. Under item 7A, the fiscal year 2021 Coronavirus Emergency Supplement Funding Program Grant Extension. This is a grant that was for the prosecutor's office for the backlog that was done, and they've just extended it to 9/30/23 for filing the grant.
I'd move this be sent to the full board.
Support.
Motion and support. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7B, fiscal year 23 Michigan Mental Health Court Grant Program Contract. This is the same as as we had last year. So if we could get a motion to send to full board.
Make a motion, send it full board.
Board.
Support.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Fiscal year 2023 Michigan Drug Court Grant Agreement Approval. This is a $15,000 grant that is 100% with no match.
Make a motion, send full board.
Support.
Motion and support. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, fiscal year 23 Office of Highway Safety Planning Grant Agreement Approval, $30,000, 100%. Again, no match.
Make a motion to send it full board.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Fiscal year 23 Crime Victims' Right Program Grant Agreement Approval. This is in the amount of $170,489. It's going to be 2.7 employees and a partial position also in the courts.
Make a motion, send it full board.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our 2021 interlocal agreement between Macomb County and St. Clair County for Homeland Security Grant Agreement grant approval. This just needs to be final action because it's from 21 and we have to pay some bills.
So moved.
Support.
We have motion and support. Do we need a roll call on this? Roll call, please.
And Georgia, I'm sorry, was that you that supported that, or was that Lisa?
Yes, I'm sorry. That's okay. I have to start saying my last name.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Bohm,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you. Other judiciary public safety matters? I did receive a call from John Osborne, and I think he called Justin as well. Some years back, the city of Yale was. They're considered a shelter site. They're a shelter site. They're a major shelter for the west side of the town. So they received a generator from the Goodalls County Park when they used to have what was there, a hospital of sorts out there in the county park, and when they tore it down, that generator was taken to Yale, and it's been there for many years, and it's not working. And to get it functioning the way it needs to be is gonna be more money. I mean, it's beyond its life expectancy. I think it was old when they took it there. So John just asked if there was any way that there could be some help. Rough prices, it's gonna be around $50,000 to $55,000 to get a generator that's gonna take care of the offices in the area that this one did. So hopefully it never needs to be used, but I mean, that's what it's there for. So I'm assuming that might be an item that may be able to be addressed when we're using some of the ARP funds at some point. And I told him that there's a committee that's going to be formed, but it's not going to happen until after the first of the year. But I think we'd like to know if we could get it at least on the radar, so that if there's anything available. I mean, it makes sense if we're going to say that we need to have that area. Yes?
Got two questions. I know we had generators sitting at the airport forever. Are they still sitting there?
Are you talking about the small portable generator?
Yeah, I don't know how many.
No, they need a very large.
Okay, that was my next question. Make sure that.
We do have small, like 8K portable generators.
Okay.
And they're.
That's not an option. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think this is going to be like a 30,000 kW natural gas, all hooked up, so it's an automatic. When power goes out, it just clicks over and allows them to heat and maintain a building site.
That would be just the city buildings?
Pardon?
The city buildings?
The city building in their municipal office, or in the DPW, which is right, I mean, they're right next to each other.
But that's a warming shelter and cooling shelter for the
Yes.
county?
Yeah.
They have unique issues. I mean, I'm not telling you all anything you don't know, but cell phones don't work great in Yale for some reason, like it's a giant pole. And that is an area for protection for people, for tornadoes and things like that as well. So
Okay.
it's a multi-use as far as shelters.
So I just wanted to bring it up so that it's on the radar, and when you get talking about those funds, if there's.
Well, when you're here in when you're not here in January, we'll talk about it. I'm just making it funny. With the ARPA funds and whoever's on that committee, potentially make sure we bring that up.
Sure.
And Jeff, if I'm sure you got notes, put it on the agenda so we discuss it in January.
Good, all right, thank you. I will let them know. Motion to receive and file packets?
So moved.
Support.
All in
Baldwin.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you. No, next week, 2 weeks.
I won't be here to receive this from you.
In 2 weeks you will. You're not coming in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You're not.
I am.
Listen.
Yeah, stop talking.
Confused.
Good evening. I'd like to call the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Environmental Public Works Committee to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Commissioner Vanden Bosch,
Here.
Commissioner Bohm,
Here.
Commissioner Rushing,
Here.
Commissioner Beeden. Present. Commissioner Baldwin,
Here.
Commissioner McConnell,
Here.
Commissioner Dunn.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item number 2, could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Support.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any citizens to be heard on the Environmental Public Works Committee? We have one.
No, she's.
I'll take that to start. Thank you.
You have the one for the Ways and Means
Are you for Ways and Means?
while you're here? Thank you.
Dawn Nowicki?
My name's Dawn Nowicki. I was here a couple months ago and spoke about the methane smell that we experience out in Smiths Creek. Mr. Mark Williams did contact me. Very nice fellow. Didn't have a lot of weight to put in anything he had to say. He told me that at the distance that my property is, that the methane I'm exposed to shouldn't cause any health concerns. Shouldn't cause. He's basing that on what? And my neighbors wanted to know, as close as what they are to the dump, what kind of health concerns are they being exposed to? Everyone said that over the summer, they did not encounter any methane, but we normally experience that worse in the wintertime. So just a heads up, if there's a methane smell that comes up in Smiths Creek, I have put together a community group and we will be here. So just so that you guys are aware.
I'm just curious, how long have you lived out there, out of curiosity? And usually you don't exchange.
30 years.
Okay.
So, and then the other complaint that the citizens out there have is the dump trucks bringing trash into the landfill. I know it's Michigan law, every truck is supposed to be tarped, but the weekly chores are to pick the garbage up out of their yards. You're bringing that into our community and we have to clean up after it, and it's not fair. So I wanted to bring that to your attention as well. Is this also the committee that would hear things on Goodall's Park?
Sure.
While you're up there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Goodall's Park, beautiful facility. I love having events at Goodall's Park. I think that we have one of the prettiest fairgrounds, community park in the state. Just a lovely facility. One of the largest complaints whenever we try to put on an event there is the lack of cell service, data service specifically. It's hard to get vendors to come in when they can't get data service to process credit card sales. So I'm not sure if there's anything that we can do about that, but that would be wonderful. I mean, when I'm out there during the fair and I have lost kids that come up, I can't get cell service to contact parents. So, I mean, it's an issue. So
our Parks and Rec director's right there.
yes, sir.
Introduce yourself to them and maybe you guys can check, maybe there's some routers, enhancers, whatever, but.
Okay. Yes, anything?
Challenging. We've done hotspots during events. There's only 2 or 3 events that come up a year.
If you would, could you guys do this conversation 3 minutes up? It's just something we have to do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Don. Any other citizens to be heard? Are there any updates from commissioners?
I have one. You probably saw the press release today from DTE regarding their integrated resource plan that they have to submit every 5 years to the Michigan Public Service Commission. I had a phone conference with Trevor Lauer, the president of DTE, and Stephanie Beers, a government affairs director, a couple weeks ago, and talked about what was going to be in the plan. Bell River power plant is scheduled for a 2028 closure. They are actually going to be moving that up to 2026. But as part of that, they want to convert Bell River into natural gas. It's about a $150 million investment, which is huge because we don't see 150 million a lot, I can assure you that. It will produce about 1,300 megawatts of power, which is currently what Bell River produces. They're going to be looking to, in exchange for that, they're going to be looking at taking a couple of the, down in Monroe, couple additional turbines offline down there. So I did forward that information today to the commissioners, just in the email, the press release, and it's got a pretty detailed thing in there as far as what they're looking to do. Also part of it, I know, Dave, you guys are into at Wales Township right now, but they are going to be doing a major push into wind, solar, and battery storage. They have the different numbers that, you know, they're looking to achieve with that. So you're going to be hearing a whole lot more about probably solar in some of the rural communities out here, whether they want it or not. That is a local decision. But very good news if this can get approved. This actually integrated resource plan, it'll run for a year. So they just, excuse me, did the release. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, that Bell River is huge for one of my communities. It's 67% of China Township's revenue. 67.
They're almost held harmless at 150 million. I think it's, 200 million or so.
So if the state turns it down,
well, they need to make power. Number one, 1,300 megawatts of power is roughly 10% of entire DTE's entire portfolio of power. So you're not going to backfill that overnight by any stretch.
and at $1 billion to build blue water, they're not ready to build another one of those up here yet.
Where they're at is, it's natural gas or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be natural gas.
Okay, any other questions? All right, moving on to conceptual initiatives. None this evening. No old business. Moving on to item 7, new business. Item A, Resolution 22-51, the annual county at-large assessments.
Motion send it to full board.
Support.
Are there questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B, Parks and Rec fees for the coming up year. Our Parks and Rec director is here tonight. Dennis, you want to get up and tell us a little something about it?
Good evening. In your packet, you should have some information in regard to our Parks and Recreation fees. We've been working on these over the last couple of months. And in that process, we decided to do some research with other counties to see where they fall with their rates for similar services. And while doing that, it was eye-opening. So you'll see that there's a few changes on there. The red is proposed. One of the things we found other counties do is they do a discounted rate Monday through Friday, in a lot of cases for special groups. So you'll see that on the bottom of the form describes what those special groups are that can receive that Monday through Friday rate. And there's a couple other adjustments, not a lot, but the one that I do want to point out that's significant are the non-resident fees, one for hunting and the other is for the parking fees at Fort Gratiot County Park. That's under miscellaneous on the second page. You'll see that, I think it's halfway down there. We found that Fort Gratiot County Park, it's become so popular that we've had to turn away users, specifically residents. So one of the ways to combat that, and we found that this is being done all over the state with beach parks in particular, is to charge a non-resident fee for parking to those parks. And the city of Port Huron does it. It's been very effective for them in two ways, providing an advantage to their residents, but also creating revenue. significant revenue. So we're looking at that as a possibility for Fort Gratiot County Park, so that's why that's on the proposed fees. The other large increase, you'll see is under the showmobiles. So our showmobiles went up to $500 is what the proposed amount is. It was at $250. We haven't adjusted that rate as long as I've been here. And with fuel costs and the popularity of the showmobile, we did a study in August to see how much it's going out. We had 89 staff hours just in deliveries in the month of August, and that's not our busiest month. So, we've increased in popularity. We're going all over the county, and we checked with other counties that do showmobiles, and we found the closest, which is Oakland, and I know they're a little bit different in how they operate from us, but their fee was $650 per day. So we're significantly, cheaper in that aspect, but at the same time, we had to adjust to cover our fuel costs and staff time and those sort of things. So that's why that's proposed at $500. I don't think there's anything else on there, but if you have any questions, I can answer those now.
Any questions?
I will just, I guess, echo as a event producer, and all you guys know, I do all the entertainment down in St. Clair and do all that stuff, and 250 is way too cheap. You can't even get that. 500 is definitely more in line. Not that I want to pay more money, but I'm just telling you that's in check.
The private stage we use for Battle of the Bands is $2,000 for the weekend.
Hey, don't tell them that now.
Well,
all right.
we rent them both.
Right. We just felt we needed to, raise it a little bit because we have all those climbing costs.
Any other questions of Dennis? Thank you, Dennis. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Support.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C is Resolution 22-53, the airport sponsor contract, maintenance automatic weather observation system.
Motion send it full board.
Support Baldwin.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number D is the survey and the remonumentation grant application for 2023.
Motion to send to full board.
Support, Beeden.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item E, 2023 Capital Improvement Grant Program. Mr. Struck is in attendance tonight. If anybody has any questions, I'm sure he would be glad to answer.
Make a motion to send to the full board.
Support.
Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item F, the Brownfield redevelopment grant application, requesting for $500,000.
Make a motion to move it to full board.
Support.
Are there any questions on the motion?
Quick question, Jeff Donaldson, is this the third time? Okay, nope. That's simple answer.
Thank you. Do we have a motion? And support. Are there any questions on the motion?
I guess just quick little history on it. We got $1 million the first time, and a lot of that had to do with the cleanup and the environmental tied in with the city of Marysville, the DT plant. The second time was 400,000, correct me if I'm wrong, or was it 500? Okay, and we've been able to use these for a lot of different projects,
Got some over at the Wrigley Center too, right?
Yeah, a little bit. So it's been good for to help some of these projects move off center, with the environmental. So keep our fingers crossed on that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item G is the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority body reappointment for John Steffi through 10/31 of 25.
I'll make a motion to move it to full board.
Support.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8 is the Smiths Creek Landfill Activities Report. Get a motion to accept.
Motion to receive and file.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any other public works matters? Item 10 is information only, the monthly Parks and Recs financial documents.
Motion to receive and file.
Support Baldwin.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, receive and file packets.
So moved, Beeden.
Support.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
This time I'd like to call the Ways and Means Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Certainly. Commissioner McConnell.
Here.
Commissioner Baldwin.
Present.
Commissioner Beeden. Present. Commissioner Dunn.
Present.
Commissioner Bone.
Here.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch.
Here.
Commissioner Rushing.
Here.
Motion.
All right, I see we have one addition. Resolution 22-59, one-time retention payment, 2022, County Association of Non-Union Employees Canoe. Need that added to 7. That's the
R.
R.
Sing the song.
So moved.
I saw him mouthing it over there. PQR.
Support Baldwin.
Any questions? All right, I need a motion to accept the amended agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Okay, we do have Don Nowicki in regards to Ways and Means.
Dawn Nowicki. I just wanted to bring up about the primary election on August, I believe, 2nd. There were 5 millage proposals on the ballot that all 5 of them passed. I feel that in a large portion of the people that I have talked to about this, that those millage proposals had no business being on the primary ballot. The primary was for the Democrat and the Republican Party candidates. A third of the county turned out to vote. People I called that day, did you vote? You need to go vote. Did you vote? What? No, I'm not interested in the primary. Well, you should be. There's millage things. If you vote for nothing else, go and vote on the millage. It shouldn't have been there. It should have been on the general election in November. It's everybody I talked to. I can't believe that people voted to pass this through. 5 increases. We're in an inflation, going into a recession, and we put 5 proposals for millage increases on a primary ballot. To me, that was intentional, knowing that there would be low voter turnout. That's all I have to say about it. Thank you.
I'm not going to ask her a question, but if I could ask you a question, Gary. We're allowed 4 elections, which is regulated by Lansing. We cannot dictate that at the county level, what's on the ballot or not.
Well, the organizations come forward and they request.
Can you talk into the mic?
Yeah, excuse me, they request that their matter be put on the ballot. They request when they want to go on, and you either say yes or no. You can't say, well, we'll approve it, but you need to move here, so.
Okay. My other statement, and correct me if I'm wrong, of those 5 proposals, the majority of them were just renewals. They weren't increases in millages.
Right, there was a new one,
Yes.
which was the ambulance service.
Right.
And the rest were.
Just renewal, no increases.
The library.
Library was an
Library got an increase?
They doubled.
The other thing I think that's worth noting is, I get the argument, if it was very close and maybe a bigger turnout, they would have failed, but they were blowout winners.
Yeah, the library is normally 70%. Park and Rec is, I believe, at least 70%. And the majority of them are. There's very few millages that are close. Some school elections where millages are close, and I've been at KPAC, of course, because that's where I vote, and not every millage is passed. But normally what happens with school millages, they just pass it to the next election until it does get approved.
Right.
And that's how school millages work. I remember one time, like 30 or 40 votes, it did not pass. Yay. Well, the next election that came up, it was on the thing again, and then it passed by about that much. But anyways, that's all I have to say about it.
And there's one other, Mr. Knopf, did you?
Oh, do we have it? Anybody else
Yep.
want to address the board? Any other citizens wishing to address?
No,
Ways and
you're
Means?
good? Okay, okay, sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any updates? Any conceptual initiatives?
Just a quick one. I'd like to put a workshop on, and I'm just kind of asking the commissioners, should we wait till the new board is seated? There's different issues we want to talk about, ARPA funds, surplus property, 26 Mile Road, yada, yada, yada. I got probably 4 or 5 things that, just general conversation on what directions we want to go. Do we want to have, we can always have a workshop with this existing board and then the new people that are coming part of it. It's an open meeting, so anybody can attend them. It's not a close, but it's much more, sitting in the seats and dialogue, that kind of stuff. I don't know what sometimes with a couple of the other previous board members, you do have a little bit more, I don't want to call it institutional knowledge, but you've been around and you've been exposed to some of these things. So maybe having some of your input in these to assist. I'm kind of looking for for what you guys are thinking about.
Okay, possibly you could do it in December, or do you want to wait till January, till the new board's in place? Because we could have a committee and have a meeting and then make no final decisions prior to the new year, if you wanted to start something prior to.
Doesn't matter to whomever.
December's a little harder month with scheduling.
December doesn't work for me.
No, Greg will be-
Yeah, so, okay, so we'll look at January then, when we get the new board on.
Moving forward, January and July would probably be 2 good months, because if we hit one at the beginning of the year, see how it's going, do July again in case it could impact the budget.
Yeah.
Might be the 2 months that would make sense.
Yeah, that
Connect and reconnect.
probably makes a lot of sense to it, I agree. Okay, we will look at something then, and we will get, and if there's different things commissioners have on their mind that they would like to talk about, maybe some different things that are out in your district, feel free to, float some ideas, so.
All right, we had no conceptual initiatives. Old business. We have none. New business. 7A, Policy 241, County Procurement Card Policy. This is a revision. Have a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed.
Just to clarify that that's, per policy, that's going to be going to the December 8th regular board meeting. It needs 1 month before it can be adopted, so.
Okay, can I add that to your motion?
We can, it's just standard procedure, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, moving on to 7B. Pre-qualified contractors list, engineering services and architectural services. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Resolution 2242, waiving investment interest earned.
Make a motion to send to the full board. Baldwin?
Support. Done.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7D, Resolution 2245, establishing wages for canoe 2023. Have a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7E, 2246, elected official wages for 2023. You have a motion.
So moved.
Support. Baldwin?
Any
Just
discussion?
want to make a comment that all the increases are consistent between the unions, canoe, elected officials. Nobody's getting, big bump here, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7F, Resolution 2247, establishing compensation for members of the Department of Health and Human Services Board for 2023 and 2024.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7G, Resolution 2248, establishing BOC compensation for 2023-24. Have a motion.
So moved.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7H, Resolution 22-49, establishing per dimes for boards and commissions.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
I do have a question on this one. I feel like I just want to make sure that they're not a little low. Are they 30 per meeting? I think
They've been 30 per meeting since I've been on the board for 18 years.
Yeah.
If you want to review, if you want to take a look at that, we can always change that literally for 18 years that I've been on the board, they haven't.
And some of
Haven't
those
had
meetings
any-
go hours and hours. I mean, if everyone's getting a little bit of a bump, and these are people from the community who are serving on these boards,
Well, you might be dragging a guy from Clay Township or somewhere from the western part of the county, and, it's probably between your time and your gas and stuff like that.
so there's no
there-
mileage,
there's-
right? It's just the
There is
mileage.
mileage.
So that takes care of that, but the meeting, I'd just be curious to see what it would look like.
Can we, how about reviewing what some of the other counties, I guess, do on that? It doesn't have to be overnight, but we'll pass this accordingly, and let's just, I guess, we have our comparable counties that we can, just kind of make some phone calls and see what they're doing with it. Does it make sense?
Well, we have a lot of vacancies on some of these boards, and maybe
That might
we
help.
need a little retention bonus.
Well, the mileage takes care of the mileage, but it doesn't take care of the,
Care of the 4 hours of your day.
or the hour and a half drive,
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
45 minutes each way.
Just would be okay to look at it, maybe. That's okay? Thanks.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7I, Resolution 22-50, budget adoption for 2023.
Make a motion to send the full board?
May I have a second?
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7K, Resolution 22-54, establishing road commission compensation and mileage.
J, David.
Miss J.
Oh, J, I apologize. Crossed it off when I turned the page. Resolution 2252, 80/20 cost-sharing model adoption for 2023.
So moved.
Support.
Just
Any
one
discussion?
thing, I know a lot of the commissioners, you got the information in your packets regarding the increases for the healthcare, and they've actually been fairly modest the last X amount of years. I know we have a little bit of an increase this year, Carrie, but the couple of years previous, we were flat. You were hearing a lot of times, and we're self-insured, so, a lot of the municipalities, when we were here, we were seeing, 10, 12, 15%, and I don't think you've ever seen double digits, correct me if I'm wrong, in however long you've been here.
No, our renewals have been very good. This last year came back at just under 6%, which is higher than it's been in a long time. We've had several years that have been flat, and we actually had a year that was a slight reduction.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Resolution 22-54, establishing road commission compensation and mileage for 2023.
Make a motion to send to the full board?
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7L, 2023, pension and retiree healthcare contribution rates. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion to send to the full board? Baldwin?
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. All right, 7M, Commissioner McConnell, District 1, American Rescue Plan Project, Greenwood Township. Can I have a motion first?
Motion to send to full board.
Support.
Any conversation? Want to say anything, Greg?
Pretty cut and dry.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7N, Commissioner Baldwin, District 2, American Rescue Plan Project, Port Huron Museum, Fort Gratiot Post Hospital Restoration Project. I have a motion.
I would make that motion. Baldwin?
Support. Done.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7-0, Commissioner Baldwin, District 2 American Rescue Plan Project, Township of Birchville Fire Department Tower Top Amplifier. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Support.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
This actually, it's part of a project that came in initially at about 855,000. This is a $55,000 that might solve the entire problem, and the other piece isn't necessary. But if the other piece is necessary, this piece was still required. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this makes the rest of it not necessary.
Any other discussion?
You have it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. 7P, Resolution 22-55, ratifying collective bargaining agreement, Professional Nurses Association, MNA, Unit 1, and this is final action.
I'd make the motion for final action.
Support. Baldwin.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Bohm,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing.
Yes. 7Q, Resolution 22-56, transfer of $700,000 to the I-69 ITC Next Michigan Development Corporation for St. Clair, number 1, Next Michigan Development Area, LDFA.
I'd like to give a little history lesson on this and then maybe tag team it if that's okay.
We want a
before you
motion
want a
first
motion.
before discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Support.
So, over 20 years ago, the city of St. Clair took steps to acquire an additional 105 acres in St. Clair Township. They worked out an agreement with the city of St. Clair and the township, looking to have the next area available, I guess, ready for industrial development. If you look south of there, they had a very successful project that has probably 6 different manufacturers that are located in there. Essentially, that property sat for 20 years, and we were number 3 that I can remember, and our number 2 3 different times in 18 years, and got very difficult to land some of these, big projects. And as you well know today, everything that we talk about is development-ready sites. So the county did participate at one time to help clear the property down there. The city has invested probably at least $3 million into that. And in today's, wonderful world of economic development, nobody wants to pay for land. It's just the way that it is, right? And if you don't put these different incentives on the table, you do not land these projects. So, very fortunate, and many of you know that Magna, originally located there, built a 360,000 square feet facility, 350 jobs or so. They actually just got up and running full scale in February of 2021. Some of you attended the announcement the other day, the groundbreaking ceremony, to talk about the next phase of this. The city of St. Clair had sufficient water and sewer capacity right there, when I say sufficient, like right there, to be able to do phase 1 of that plant. The first plant did not require an LDFA. They built that particular plant, and it produces roughly $500,000 in taxes for all jurisdictions. I forget what the county, we get $120,000 a year plus special villages, so on and so forth. Phase 2 of this, which is a 740,000 square foot addition, along with another 924 jobs, will take this plant to 1.1 million square feet with 1,200 jobs. And I know a couple people, and I kind of referenced them at my groundbreaking day, and we know the one young man, many of us do, It's created a $500 to $700 swing in that young man's life, young family. That's how big it's been for them. So the city of St. Clair is now going to be required to do water improvements to the tune of $8.2 million that they have to get additional water. They've got to put in a water tower. The state of Michigan's going to cover 60% up to 3.6 million, but the water tower is going to be 5.5 to 6 million. They have to do a loop on the project. It's requiring the city of St. Clair to really step up and put a lot of other monies into this project to land this project. You do have a payback schedule, and I'm going to let Gary talk about that a little bit. Some of you were around. Actually, I think, Dave, you were the only one that was around when we did the Next Michigan development. The state of Michigan had 5 different hubs. One of the hubs was up in northern Michigan. There were 4 different hubs that were created down in the lower. We had a joint application with St. Clair, Lapeer, Genesee, so on and so forth. Have not had a lot of action, I guess for a better lack of choice of words, in that Next Michigan development area. But this particular project here, we are going to use the Next Michigan Development LDFA because it gives us the ability to capture state ed, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 mills in the school operating, 9 mills. Well, combined millage out of those 2, if we were not part of the Next Michigan Development Corporation, this is allowing the project to capture an additional $420,000 a year to help offset the cost of the improvements in there. So I just kind of want to give you a little background, a little history. The $700,000 would get transferred to the LDFA. The $700,000 will get paid back over the time of the capture. The $700,000 will essentially be, the city will use it to put some additional dollars into the infrastructure improvements and things that are necessary for this plant. In my 18 years on the board, Edison has a bigger tax base, $1 billion. ZF, this is probably the second largest project I've been personally involved in, but I've never been involved in anything that's had 1,200 jobs associated with it. So that, Gary, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, in terms of how this happened and how it would work, as Jeff indicated, the city of St. Clair spent a bundle to try to develop this, and I think their original idea was they could spend this money and they would recoup money when these big companies came in and bought the land. Well, the problem is the deal became it had to be free land, or you weren't in the game. Because every state we're competing against, every county we're competing against, they all get free land. So the first plant comes along, and they said to St. Clair, well, your idea of selling the land was good, but you got to kick it in for nothing. And along the lines of the greater good, they just did it. And the 2 biggest beneficiaries are St. Clair County and the state of Michigan. And it's a tremendous thing for St. Clair County. So then we go to phase 2, which is way bigger, way more land. And they said, well, sorry, it's free again. And they're going, well, like, how are we ever going to get any of our money back? I mean, they're $2-3 million into this thing. And they said, isn't there a way we can get paid? And I said, there is. And what you could do is sell the land to the LDFA. It can give the free land and then use the tax capture from this new building to repay the loan. The problem is the LDFA, when it starts, it doesn't have any money. So there has to be a place to get money in order to pay St. Clair to buy the land. And so the only candidate around was the county. And so basically what would happen is if you approve this, is the St. Clair County would advance $700,000 to pay for the land to the LDFA. And then the money would be captured from the tax capture to repay the county with 3% interest fast. So basically you're making better interest than you make in the money you have on deposit now. And you can see the tax capture is enormous. So at 80% complete in 2023, in 2024, the tax capture will be $1,105,725. And then in 2025, it'll be $1,382,156. So a 2-year total of about $2.5 million. So with that kind of a capture, some of it'll be for some improvements, but not much. And the rest will go, the county will be paid back really, really fast. From my point of view, and I know I like tell you the legal part and then I'm supposed to shut up, but I think I need to say this. I think from a fundamental fairness point of view, I think for all the benefit the county's going to get out of this, which is enormous, and everything it got out of the first plant, which is enormous, to me, it's fundamentally unfair to make the city of St. Clair eat it all for the benefit of mainly us in the state of Michigan. And as I said, you'll get your money back really, really fast with good interest. So anyways, that's the whole tax capture here is you have. The resolution explains it all, but essentially what I said to you is what'll happen if you approve this. If you don't, St. Clair is going to eat it again. So.
And Jeff, there's also some major water and sewer issues in both St. Clair Township and the north end of St. Clair. This is going to cure for the rest of the community. I mean, this is going to take care of a lot of low pressure areas and some sewer issues that have been nagging the north end of St. Clair for years.
And it opens up additional development opportunities. There's a couple hundred acres there in St. Clair Township, which, you know, same thing, water, sewer, you know. So I don't want to say Magna's paying for the burden of this, but I think it's 79%, if I wasn't mistaken, Gary, in the engineering estimates that can be captured. So you are receiving a big benefit for, I don't want to use the term on someone else's back, but they are shouldering a good portion of this. And it's a good payback. It's not this 30 years like, you know, some of these things. I know, Dave, you and I have had this discussion, Anna Bosch, it's, you don't mind doing these things, but it's a tough pill to swallow when you don't see any money for 30 years or 40 years, you know.
And this is a huge tax incentive. I mean, this is incredible numbers.
Anyways, I don't have anything more to say unless somebody has some questions.
I myself, we each represent our own districts, and I look at every one of these, try to anyways, every one individually and closely. I think this one is a no-brainer for every commissioner, but I'm speaking for myself, of course, because this is going to benefit District 6 in addition. The taxes and additional taxes are going to be collected above and beyond this are going to more than compensate the investment, and we are going to get paid back very quickly. So I'm kind of leery of giving special attention to different districts or municipalities, but on this issue, I think it's a no-brainer. And that's all I have to say on it.
And Magna's already set up meetings with RISA. They're going to have the kids over to try and, with the instructors from RISA for the skilled trades, to try and start establishing a rapport with RISA so we can get some of the kids trained and get them, you know, high-paying jobs right out of high school. And I got a son that's going to it. So, because he was so excited to hear about the program that they've got going. I mean, he's not college-bound, and he needs a good career, and I'm hoping that maybe Magna will work out for him. We'll see.
Yeah, I tell you, you know, we had the offshoring of jobs that went everywhere. And then they're coming back now because of the whole supply chain thing. So this isn't getting done in Mexico or, you know, wherever. And they pay really well. Somebody starts out like in the high teens, and within a year, maybe they're $23 an hour. They work a lot of overtime. It's like almost $50 an hour on Sundays. Mm-hmm. And they have good benefits. They have training in robotics. It's something like we haven't seen around here. This is the stuff we've been talking about for 20 years or 30 years. When are we going to get high-paying industrial jobs? Well, we got it. So.
And the young man that I was actually referencing lives in Kanoki Township, so he drives in, you know, whatever that is, half an hour every day, but he wants there. So when you start talking about employment opportunities, that's a great example of somebody that lives, you know, out All right.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Okay, the last item, 7R, Resolution 22-59, one-time retention payment 2022, County Association of Non-Union Employees, Canoe.
Make a motion.
Support.
Discussion. I guess I have quite a bit.
Yeah.
This was just given to us, and I'm not sure of the final figures. Reading at it, this is going to be added to their salaries, one time.
It does not add to their base salary. It is a one-time payment that is not eligible for, it doesn't go into their pension multiplier, and it does not add to the base. This is the exact same amount that the board authorized for all union employees.
Is this going to be additional to what we already did, or this is just,
Well, you have not authorized anything for non-union employees yet, so this would be
Okay.
giving them the same as you granted to the union employees.
But by non-union, they're all elected?
No.
That's a separate, we're on a separate
Yeah,
one.
so this is for, we have approximately 100 employees that are not represented by a union, and it includes a variety of frontline employees up to department heads.
thank you, because now I got a complete different understanding of it. This is, because I believe the biggest asset the county has is its employees, and this puts everybody on an equal basis, the non-union ones along with the union ones now, correct? If I understood you correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, you answered my questions. Any other conversation?
Other than elected officials.
Right. this
There,
is-
yep, there is the question of what the board would, how the board would like to handle the elected officials.
So I just want to make sure if what we're voting on. So what we're voting on, if this is all canoe, does that include the electeds?
No, it doesn't. They're
Okay,
not,
they're
they're
Canoe
elected.
plus electeds. So this first motion, or what we're talking about right now, is only canoe. It's not,
Do we need to add that to the motion? So where it's, when we address it at the full board, to make that specific that it does not include elected officials? We need that in the motion.
Yeah, if that's the direction the board would like to take, then that would,
elected offi-
let us know how you want us to
They would not be
proceed.
included.
Elected or not under canoe. They're
Does that need to
separate.
be stipulated in the motion?
No,
Right,
because
just
you're not
based
going to
on-
give it to somebody that's a non-union or a non,
We got Gary here, and it actually states that,
Well-
it's got double wording in it. So I like her idea to just make sure that it doesn't include and have that part of the motion. That would make it real clear.
I guess based on the memo that we received today, right?
I agree.
I'm against giving the same bonus to elected officials. So I just want to make sure that what I'm voting on goes to, we're just talking about employees, because everyone who's elected chooses to be here. If this was, the purpose of this was retention, we choose to be, we pay to get these seats, right? You campaign, you file, you do these things. I don't think the intent of the retention applies to elected officials. So I.
Yeah,
so I just
we
wanna make
have
sure.
Who made the
retain them.
initial
We have no
motion?
way.
We have no way to retain Vanden Bosch and Commissioner Dunn.
Do you guys want to add that to your motion? Or do you want to let it stand the way you have it?
I don't even stand the way it is, because it says canoe, and if you
Right.
know
Says
what
canoe.
canoe
I
is,
mean, there's nothing,
No.
I mean, you're not going to add,
No.
so you're not going to give it to
We're not.
some resident of the county.
it's
I mean,
just
it
canoe
says
employees. And there's a handbook for,
Understand? What would our county administrator advise and our council advise? Should we add it or not? Is it fine the way?
So, well, we could, on the resolution, list them as exempt if that would make the board more comfortable, but technically they are not a canoe employee, so they wouldn't be covered, similar to if you gave the nurses this increase, it wouldn't include anyone outside of that unit. But elected officials do receive a lot of the same fringe benefits as canoe, so it does kind of cross over. So I think maybe adding them when this comes back to the full board in the resolution would clarify that.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your memo does say the proposal covers all non-elected, regular, full-time, and part-time canoe. So
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Any other Ways and Means Matters? We have none. We have no information only. Can I have a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Baldwin.
support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.